Hello, hello. Oh my, oh my. So the weekly lives continue. 2 weeks in a row now. It's been Thursday instead of Wednesday, so that's interesting. And when I felt into what wanted to come through, it kept kind of bouncing off a couple different ideas, but kept landing back on what it means to be empowered, but not just an empowered human, an empowered witchy healer, which is what we are. I'm going to spray some I Received Money spray for us all while I am talking. So it's happened to me, not often, but occasionally in sessions where I realized a client is waiting for me to tell them either what to do, who they are, what their gifts are. You know, to a certain degree, I can definitely see what their gifts are, but, you know, one's information and wisdom. Hello, Oritha. I'm not sure. Tell me what the. Hi, Samantha. Oritha, let me know if I'm saying that right. And I can't see comments on my phone, so I will check on my laptop in a little bit. So yeah, what it means to be empowered as magical witchy healers. So it's really connected with the journey of legacy work, and which is where my own path has led me to. I've worked with healers in raising their prosperity vibration since 2006. But as far as bringing in like soulful success in business, visibility in business, in, you know, healer businesses, that began towards the end of 2011. And I've been kind of doing all of that ever since, sort of soulful success, prosperity, and visibility in your magical witchy healer business, or biz, as I tend to say. You know, and all of those things felt right. You know, I always, and this is part of being empowered too, I always only do things from connection to soul. If it doesn't feel right in my soul, then it is not for me to do or be or say or have. And I've spent, well, at a certain point, several times a day, I spent many, many, many hours over the course of many, many, many months doing the energy practice of grounding to the earth, usually from the root chakra or from the end of the spinal cord or from the bottoms of the feet or some mixture of all of those, and creating an energetic grounding cord from those places, and growing it down into the earth, as if it was like a root from a tree, and widening the grounding cord energetically so that it is wider, so that it's like either the width of my body or wider, and then consciously allowing anything that is not my truth, you know, maybe emotional baggage or energy that I've been holding on to for other people, maybe from past lifetimes, anything that is not the truth of my soul, allowing that to fall down through the grounding cord, which I call the energy elevator, and down into the earth, all the way to the center of the earth, into the molten fireball, you know, center of the earth, where that energy that was not mine was neutralized and recycled back out into the universe as neutral energy. And I did this practice often throughout the day for a length of time. I want to say probably almost a year. And what started to happen, and why it's related to empowerment, and this was, really a long time ago, probably 2007, 2008, something like that. What ended up happening as I got rid of everything that is not part of my truth is that I stopped getting sick. Like, I'm 55 years old now. When I was a child, and then throughout many, many years into my mid to late 30s, I would be sick with something every month, whether it was a cold or a flu or an upper respiratory infection, or as a child, earaches. But my mom actually used homeopathic remedies on me, and the earaches stopped. So empowerment. But, and what I ended up realizing all those years later, and as I was studying myself energetically and working with my energy, is that the reason that I got sick so much is because I was an empath and I was soaking up everyone else's crap, right? And not knowing that was happening. So not knowing that I was holding all this other stuff that wasn't mine, energetically, emotionally, whatever, and not realizing that I needed to get rid of it. So it would just fester and erupt as physical ailments. I know all this now. And when I realized after the energy grounding cord exercise, letting go of everything that wasn't my truth, or truly mine, I started realizing all of that the main or the only reason that I got sick so often was because I was weighed down by burdens and emotional baggage and energy and crap that wasn't ever mine to have and hold to begin with. Leave the cat alone. Minerva. Sorry. And
come here, man. Come here. We're doing magic. Don't you want to be? Oh, you came on the other side. Hi, sweetheart.
Beagle Boston makes Minerva and her brother Baxter. They're going to be 4 on August 14th. Little Leo puppies. Okay, so so I stopped getting sick, and it's not to say that I never have physical symptoms, but when I do, because of how glommed in on my own energy field I am, that's not the right word, but I always do that. I throw in a word that's not totally appropriate, but I think you know what I mean. Honed in, how about that? Because of how honed in on my own energy I am, if I start experiencing a physical symptom, and yes, I read the Louise Hay books, but there's another, Daniel Condren is his name. He wrote a book called Permanent Healing. It's old already, the book, but I really worked with his descriptions of the emotions behind specific physical ailments. Around the same time that I was doing the whole grounding cord thing. I still do the grounding cord thing, but when that was my main focus, his descriptions and really, really focusing in on those and healing those in myself, allowed me to learn how to heal a physical symptom, like as soon as it pops up, or even all my life. Oh, this is interesting. I think all my life, if I ever got hurt, in some accidental way, it was always on my right-hand side, except for my teeth. The only major thing I had with my teeth was on the upper left hand. That was the only thing. Teeth are magical in and of themselves, so that's another story. But it would always affect, I sprained my right arm falling over on my bike when I was, 10 years old or something. When I would ever be in car accidents, I was always the passenger, and I always ended up having whiplash which, I think it happened like 2 or 3 times, which always affected the nerves in between my spine and shoulder blade on the right-hand side, which ended up with causing like numbness and tingling and weirdness through my arm, but especially my right wrist. At the end of 2021, I was the dogs were still little puppies, and it was the end of December, but it was raining and snowing at the same time. I live in Chicagoland area, so our weather is always really extreme and weird. Raining, snowing at the same time. I was taking Minerva out for her final potty around 11 o'clock at night. It was dark. I had her little potty gate outdoor thing on the side of the yard that was away from the light. That was smart. So muddy, rainy, slushy, snowy. I was stepping over the gate, holding her in my arm because they were still really little, and I tripped on the gate. And plus, I hadn't zipped my boots up all the way. That was excellent. Tripped over the gate, hurt my entire right side of my body, all the way from the top of my hip to the bottom of my foot, but especially the ankle. And then I couldn't walk up and down the stairs anymore. So the dogs, while I was healing, it wasn't like a break, it was like a sprain, but couldn't put weight on it. And while the months that I was healing, I retrained the dogs from outdoor potty to just an indoor potty pad area. And they learned perfectly. They were great. They were fine, thank God. And then I had to potty train them outdoors. I know that's a long story, but it was the right side of my body. So, and I'm trying to remember why this is important. Oh, okay. So, and what it has to do with empowerment. Well, during the time that I was healing, and I couldn't walk upstairs. I couldn't walk down to the basement to do laundry. My partner started doing the laundry. Eventually, he actually started working he switched companies and started working from home, and his office is in the basement where the laundry is. So he does the laundry all the time now, even though I can technically do it now. But so that's cool. And now I can take the dogs out up and down the back deck stairs, blah, 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 blah. Healing, yay. But it was actually a good thing that this happened, because during that time when I was not able to do much aside from stand on my left foot and cook a can of soup, feed the animals. And I spent lots and lots and lots of time just laying on this love seat that we brought into the dining room, because our bed is too low. I couldn't lower myself into the bed with my hurt leg. So, I had to sleep on this love seat. It's really comfortable, but in the dining room, which is my favorite room in the house, which is where I am now, look at the ceilings and the woodwork. And the French windows, and it's very kind of Frank Lloyd Wright-ish, who has my actual sun sign birthday, June 8th. But anyway, still my favorite room in the house, this and the room adjacent to it, which has a beautiful antique fireplace. So I don't know why my little stories always have these little little details I go off into. But I had all this not spare time, but all this time just like kind of not being able to do much of anything, can't walk to the store. What ended up happening is I started spontaneously healing from the centuries-old witch wound. So if you've known me for some time, you might have heard me talking about this. So throughout most of 2022, which is after the fall of my right leg, the downfall, which is now the upside, I spontaneously went into the healing of the witch wound. And I won't go into it deeply, but it was one of the most intense several months that I've ever gone through. And everything, and when I say the witch wound, you probably know this, but I mean the soul deep the soul level wound that probably most healers carry, that was caused and is still, affected by all of the lifetimes that we were hurt, killed, punished, tortured, drowned, put into an insane asylum as, witches, quote unquote. Some actually were witches, meaning healers. Some actually weren't even witches, so just disempowered souls looking at the empowered healers and the shamans and the spiritual messengers and the powerful, beautiful forest witches and herb witches and watching us use our magic and use our power and saying that must be destroyed. And so, I healed from all of that. I didn't even know how deep it went. I didn't see until I had the time to heal from it and go through that process, which was not peaceful at all. There was screaming and rage and crying so that liquid was pouring out of my mouth, eyes, and nose, into like bathroom towels because there wasn't enough Kleenex in the world. It was everything. And my poor puppies would sit and look at me like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, no. It was intense, but I knew I had to go through that all in order to become the most empowered and powerful version of myself. B, so that I could then facilitate witch wound healing for my people, which I did and have done, and still do, and C, so that I could take stock of all of the patterns and really see in detailed fashion how the witch wound affects so many facets of how we are in life, how we are in business, how we think we're supposed to be, right, in life and business, and especially in our healing businesses. And it's only today that I really, it's been kind of happening the past few days, but today I really, really got it. This thing that's been happening the past few days is like, I haven't felt urgency. I haven't felt a sense of urgency, like I have to get that email sent and I have to, have 5 more people sign up for this legacy liberation session that I'm offering, which I am, and I actually posted in the group a little while ago about that. There's a few posts if you scroll back, but I've had no sense of urgency in my business. And I've had more of like a sense of relaxation in my body that, for the most part, I haven't experienced before when it comes to the way I be in my business. So healing the witch wound heals the old earth way of like stress and striving and working from trauma instead of from your truth, which is your soul at peace. That channeled through. And I'm going to check to see if there are any comments. I don't think so. She said Britishly. Just reloading the page. So yeah, to be the most empowered, magical, witchy healer that you can be, that you're meant to be, that you deserve to be in your life and in your business, definitely consider doing the deep healing process of really clearing the old witch wound trauma. it cleans everything up. It's amazing. And it really lent itself to, because I've always been a prosperity intuitive, even as a child. Like if I heard someone say, oh, well, such and such would be nice, but we can't afford that. Like I had this inner lie detector go off and be like, that's not true. You know, it's like, it's that thing of, you know, be careful what you say and how you say it. Like, don't say I can't afford it, because the truth is right now I'm not allocating my funds towards that, but it's an idea that I'm going to put in the idea box so that I can manifest it soon or later or whatever, you know, so, and that's a way more empowered and prosperous way of being, and it feels better. It feels more relaxed. It doesn't feel heavy and like, ooh, you know, poverty consciousness and the feeling of I don't deserve this, that, and the other thing, and which I've been able again, and this is the reason that I'm so in tune with prosperity vibration, is because I've seen the opposite of it for most of my childhood and most of my life, because my parents were born from their parents who were born from their parents who went through the Great Depression, right? And so it was like wear the same pair of socks 7 days in a row and eat a can of peas and a potato for dinner, and not to say peas and potatoes are bad. I love them. I eat them all the time, but they're staples of my vegetarian diet. But you know what I mean? Like just lack, just the energy of lack. And then I find in the new relaxed way of being in biz that I've been experiencing, and I've been teaching it for years. That's the funny thing. Like I always teach the truths that come through me, but still it might take me a long time to work on it. You know, like I know what needs to happen, and I know how I need to feel, but I needed to go through that the pulling the witch wound out from the roots in such a powerful way in order to be able to get into a place where I can be in that relaxed state and not have that sense of urgency in business. I hope this is making sense, making soulful sense, and yeah, I'm trying to think of let's feel into. Does anything else want to come through? No. Linda! What's up, girl? Yeah, I'm gonna reload the page again, see if anyone left a comment, and if you have questions, please. I am checking on purpose in comments. I don't think so, but I don't think there are any. Yeah, so feeling into the concept of empowerment, and yeah, I was going to say, why am I so into empowerment? It's like, well, the obvious reason is, you know, isn't it better to be in our power? but the more specific reason is, when I started speaking with the universe, it was probably 2012, I believe, magically. And I asked what my soul purpose is, because we have soul purpose, life purpose, and earth purpose. They're all related, but my soul purpose, and I heard I guess it was the universe or my soul or both, because they're the same thing anyway, but I heard your soul purpose is human empowerment. And I went, okay, that makes sense. That jives with my whole thing. and throughout the years, I started realizing, okay, that's my soul purpose. Like it's actually what my soul purpose has. Our soul's purpose is what it always has been throughout every incarnation, every lifetime, and even when we're not incarnate. Because I've been I've been a shaman in many lifetimes, but sometimes not in a human body, but a spirit shaman, meaning like a human's spirit teacher, but as a spirit, if that makes sense. Because we can have, like, I guess like a spirit guide. I guess, we can be spirit guides when we don't have bodies, but we can also be spirit guides when we do have bodies. Wayne Dyer, when he was alive, he was what I call one of my living spirit guides. When he was still in his body on Earth, he would come up behind me and put his etherical hands on my shoulders when I needed comfort. It was great. But I had a client years ago, a shamanic healing client, and one of her living spirit guides, because he was alive back then, was Prince. Prince would come to her a lot. I was like, oh man, that's cool. But so anyway, fast forward, like, and then I got, okay, we've got our soul's purpose, which feeds in to our life purpose and, generally into our earth purpose as well. But I realized what my life purpose was not just empowerment for humans, but empowered prosperity for healers, for the magical witchy healers of Earth. So a more specific type of empowerment and more specific type of human. And my earth purpose is what am I going to do in this lifetime to leave Earth better than I found it when I came here? So my earth purpose is animal kindness. I became aware of the cruel treatment of animals in the meat industry when I was 12 years old, or actually right before I turned 12. And when I was 12, I decided to be a vegetarian, and I have been ever since, and I'm 55. Can't do the math right now, but it's been a very long time. So, kindness to animals. And if I see a hurt animal, I always rescue it, or I bring it in, take care of it, and get someone else who has a car to bring it to a rescue. But yeah, because the animals have always shown me that, they're our equals. They may communicate in different ways, but they see and feel and experience, pain and joy and, so all of that jazz. So anyway, that's my earth purpose. One of the ways I like to act upon my earth purpose too is I like to, when clients make a purchase from me in my business, I like to get trees planted in their names. And trees, not only are trees themselves, amazing, and we definitely need them, and they need us, and we need more of them. But they are also the homes of bazillions of different animal species. So it's all cohesive. So empowerment. So I hope, and if you came on in the middle, definitely. Oh, and I started talking about, I know I go off on so many tangents that they're related, but I kind of sometimes lose a train of thought. In the beginning, I was talking about how every once in a while a client will want me to provide answers for them, or provide their answers for them, or tell them their soul's truth, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I can't. You're the only one who can do that for yourself. I can facilitate it. I can clear up any fuzziness around it. I can, shamanically extract huge blocks that are centuries old so that you don't feel fear around discovering and sharing your soul's truth. But, your power lies within yourself. Your empowered self can only become empowered by you making the choice to do that and finding out what your magic is, finding out, excavating your soul's truth. And that's all a part of your legacy work too. Your body of work, all of what you came here to share in this lifetime, out with what I call your true soul tribe or your true soulmate clients. It can only come from within you. ain't nobody outside your old self is going to do that for you. Or, some people say they can and do, like people that, call up psychics and ask, what's going to be the outcome of such and such relationship or situation or whatever, and the psychic actually gives them answers. And I'm going, oy vey. Like, I would be saying, well, you create, you have the power. And people aren't taught this, so they just don't know. And I totally get that. But you have the power here. Okay, here's the nutshell, bottom line, core of what I'm trying to say. Everything is energy, and you can change energy. And when I say you, I'm talking to my magical, witchy healer people. Everything is energy. You can change energy, so you can change everything. And I say that like it's easy, like you can snap your fingers and change it. Well, you can, but again, it's so ingrained. It's such an ingrained teaching, and so old earth and heavy, the teaching, that, well, this happened and that happened. Oh, well, too bad, so sad. And it's like, no, what do you want to create instead? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? What energy do you want to give off? What, and it's never too late to start creating your realm, your, golden egg around you, containing only how you want to feel. Only, in my case, I want to feel total relaxation, and no more stress and tension. But it's going to be different for everyone. How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? What do you desire to bring into your realm? And what do you not allow into your realm? And it takes practice, okay? Like, it takes practice because of how deeply ingrained the teaching that of just taking things the way they are, and that's the way it is. It's like, no, dude, everything is energy. Like, this box of tissues is energy, and it feels like solid cardboard, but it's a lot of tiny little particles moving around. And my iced coffee is energy, and I know the magical things that people talk about that are like hard to do, like levitating, or some people like do the spoon bending thing, and I know it can seem either hard or impossible to someone who hasn't stepped into their power as a creator, But I used to have to prevent myself from levitating. I know that's so weird and funny, but like when I would have my, this was in our past house, in my studio, which was upstairs, and if I was sitting cross-legged on the floor or sitting at my desk, sometimes the energetic shifts during client sessions were so powerful that I could feel my body starting to rise, and I had to hold on to the desk if I was sitting at the desk, or I had to, like if I was on the floor, I kind of grabbed the sides of the rug I was sitting on. I was like, I'm trying not to levitate. I think I wasn't ready for that, and now I'm really pretty much so grounded that I have roots into the earth like a tree, and so there's probably little chance of me spontaneously levitating, and I haven't really tried to do it consciously. Haven't really felt the need, because I can go anywhere I want, just, spirit-wise. I do that. People tell me I appear before them and give them advice. I'm like, that's nice of me. But anyway, yeah, okay. I think I said pretty much everything that I came here to say and more. It's always a free for all. Whatever wants to come through, I just allow it. So thank you, guys, gals who are here live, and I really appreciate hanging out with you. And I'll reload the page one more time, but I don't think anyone said anything. You're just kind of having me on babbling in the background. That kind of sounds like I'm putting myself down. That's old earth stuff. Ooh. No, but in truth, thank you for powerfully being here with me. And so the past, I don't know, 5 days or so, on and off, I've been posting about the Legacy Liberation Sessions, which are currently on sale for 50% off. And it's been sort of a long and windy kind of sale. I thought it was going to end last weekend, and I just wanted to keep going. So I said, okay, let's do it. I think it will end sometime early next week. So if you want to check those out, that is up. It's called the Legacy Liberation Session. And if you don't know, I get these physical symbols, I call them. The yawn is the yawn of transformation. So we've had some energetic shifts happen, which always happens, even just by getting on a live call, or even watching the replay if you're not on live. So I love you guys, and I will see you soon. And come join me in a session. I won't levitate, probably, but it's going to be really magical. It will be really magical. I'll just briefly say in my last. Hello, Lisa May. So I'm just ending. So you want to go back and watch the replay when it's up. I was going to say, in the last Legacy Liberation session I did with a client, we cleared about 300 years worth of witch wound energy blocks within the session. And the session is 50 minutes. So it's like my new not motto, but whatever tagline in my head is, clear centuries of blocks in less than an hour. And I'm laughing, but it's true. I'm laughing because it's fun. Energy work is fun. I love it. All right, you guys, mwah, huge love. Watch the replay if you missed part of it, and I will catch you soon. Love you, bye.